and hopefully we won't have some weird, remember last night, holy moly, if we had our meeting last night during all that lightning, my computer would have exploded. There's no way we would have had the meeting. I would have lost internet. I would have lost everything. We had it. I don't know about everybody that's logged on right now, but it was like 360. There was thunder and lightning, and it was like moving through, and it was over the ocean, and it was off the grade, and it was in the foothills, and it was behind us. And oh my goodness, I didn't even, it was stunning. It was amazing. So I think we had a good run there last night. So
it even rained a little bit.
It poured at my house.
Like unbelievably, it rained.
It poured. Joan and I were tiptoeing, worrying about the trash that was maybe running, kind of washing down Ormond Lagoon waterway. And she went and visited the lagoon this morning, and it looks good. So it couldn't have been that much rain, but I'm very grateful. Yeah. Okay, we're going to get started. Hopefully our program leaders are here. Our executive committee members have joined us tonight. And one of the things that I really want to do is not like move too quickly, but I'd like to move quickly because we have a lot to cover tonight. So I did want to welcome all of you to the meeting tonight. I think it's a really critical meeting. We're going to learn tonight about the current and active California state legislative bills that are coming up. Bill's going to share that with us. And then he's also going to share the status of the oil spill down at Huntington Beach. And then we're going to move on into our volunteer recruitment training, which we have a lot going on with our chapter, and we really want to share that with you and see if any of you out there want to become a volunteer. If you are already a volunteer, do you want to step up a little bit and give us a little bit more of your time and participate on another level? So we'll go through that tonight as the meeting continues. So couple of updates. Coastal Cleanup Day was amazing. We had it in 2 locations, in Oxnard and in Ventura. I did want to mention that Joan Tharp was our volunteer spotlight person this month. She's done an incredible job in many different capacities, and you'll hear more about what Joan is doing with the Hold On to Your Butt program, Ormond Beach, Plastic Free Ventura County. She's on our executive committee, and she just does a tremendous job for us, and we really appreciate that. I mean, a volunteer extraordinaire. So thank you, Joan. We also have a brand new OFR, and Juan, our Ocean Friendly Restaurant Program Lead, will share that information with you in just a little bit. One of the updates that I have, we have an event coming up on Saturday. I don't know if Joy logged in yet. I don't know if I saw her. So I will give that information.
She's logging in right now.
Is she okay?
Yeah, I'm giving her the link.
Okay, great. So on this Saturday, October 9th at 8:30 in the morning, there will be a beach cleanup at the Rincon Parkway location. Joy Downing Riley is leading the program for Respect to Rincon Parkway. And if you're interested in volunteering for that cleanup, you have to sign up, you have to register for it. And the event itself is on our Facebook page, and there's a link to the Google or the Sign Up Genius form. And when she gives her Respect the Rincon Parkway program information, she can talk a little bit about the cleanup that's up and coming, and then actually monthly. So Bill, did you want to give us your updates, please?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Can you add me as co-host so I can show a couple slides?
Yeah, and in case some of you don't know, or whoever doesn't know, Bill is our Southern California Regional Manager. He is in charge of, he's Surfrider staff. He's in charge of the chapters from San Diego on up to Santa Barbara. Is that yes? That's correct, right, Bill?
Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, cool. Hopefully everybody can see that. If not, just speak up. But yes, Bill Hickman, Southern California Regional Manager, and I live here in Ventura. Stoked to be here tonight and love to support the local chapter when we can. I had planned on giving some legislative updates, but in light of the oil spill that happened this weekend, I wanted to give everybody an update on that as well. So an estimated 144,000 gallons of oil leaked from a pipeline connecting an offshore platform off Huntington Beach with a processing facility in Long Beach. It's not confirmed, but it sounds like a cargo ship may have struck the pipeline. Its anchor dragged across and ruptured the pipeline. But really, the reality is that this is aging infrastructure that's bound to spill or leak over time. So something like this is almost inevitable, really. It's a reminder that we need to stop offshore oil drilling and fully transition to clean energy. So there's going to be short-term impacts, obviously, the direct impacts to wildlife and the coastal economy. Hotels and businesses are already taking a hit in Orange County. You've probably seen the photos and of the cleanup efforts, folks in hazmat suits, the oil in the marshes along the ocean everywhere. There's going to be impacts to surfers and beachgoers because inhaling the oil fumes can cause respiratory problems. And it's really unknown the long-term impacts to the coastal environment in Orange County and beyond. Much like plastic pollution, the full extent of the impacts to marine life will be tough to accurately quantify. Trained professionals and volunteers will help care for wildlife that we can find, but there will undoubtedly be animal suffering that we don't see. So what can you do to help? We really want to call on our legislators to put an end to offshore oil drilling and transition fully to clean energy. Encourage your family and friends to do the same. You can text oil spill, the word oil spilled, it's 51555, and Surfrider will keep you updated on what you can do as the situation evolves. We anticipate this to probably be about a 5-year effort to, fully clean up what's happened out there. So there is a short-term sprint to limit everything that's happening now, clean up as much as we can, but it's going to take a long time to fully address all of the impacts. And after I finish talking, I'll put a link into the chat to Surfrider's blog with tons of links to get updates from the Unified Command Center in Orange County and lots of other things you can do to learn about the oil spill and find out ways to help. California Department of Fish and Wildlife is really stressing that volunteers are not needed at this time. There's been an incredible outpouring of support and people wanting to help. But you really do need to have the proper training in hazardous materials to undertake some of the efforts that are out there. Surfrider is looking at putting together a training session to, potentially help volunteers get the credentials that they need. So again, if you text to 51555, we'll get you all the updates on that.
It's the chapter.
And then a little closer to Ventura, ExxonMobil is trying to restart drilling on their platform off Santa Barbara County that was shut down after the Refugio spill in 2015. And what they want to do is truck that oil all the way to Kern County until the Plains pipeline is repaired. So last week, the Santa Barbara County Planning Commission voted to recommend denial of the oil trucking permits. So between that and this oil spill down in Orange County, we are cautiously optimistic that the Santa Barbara County Board of Supervisors will officially deny the trucking permit. So it's just crazy, this proposal, and hopefully it will die a quick death from the County Board of Supervisors. But there's just so much pressure from the industry to keep drilling. So we really need the public to step up and comment whenever there are opportunities like this to oppose dangerous projects. So let me talk a little bit about what I'm here for is a California legislative update and a quick reminder on the 5 initiatives that everything Surfrider does falls under. So whether we're supporting legislation or working on a new campaign or program, we want everything to be related to plastic pollution, ocean protection, beach access, coastal preservation, or clean water. So this helps us keep close to our mission and avoid mission creep and weighing in and getting bogged down in important issues that may not be relevant to the coast. You know, we're all about coastal protection, coastal preservation. So this helps us keep us focused on our mission. And 2021 was the first year of a 2-year legislative cycle for California. So essentially bills that did not advance out of legislature this year can still be heard next year. Then in 2023, there'll be a clean slate. So there have already been a number of great bills that have passed both houses of legislature and have been signed by Governor Newsom. First up is SB 1, which directs the California Coastal Commission to take sea level rise into account in its planning policies, activities, and would establish a cross-government group tasked with educating the public and advising government on feasible sea level rise mitigation efforts. So SB 1 is the Sea Level Rise Mitigation and Adaptation Act. So the bill would also expand funding to assist more disadvantaged communities along the coast that are vulnerable to the impacts of sea level rise and are actively working to address environmental justice issues. SB 796 was also signed by the governor. That returns Bruce's Beach to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach. The original owners were compelled to sell the land back in the 1920s following the city's racially motivated use of eminent domain. LA County acquired the land following a series of property deals, but the state law to this point has restricted the transfer of public land to private entities. So SB 796 helps to make that possible. The LA County Board of Supervisors has promised that they will introduce a motion preparing to accept an amended deed for the land from the state and will pursue the process to identify the proper legal heirs to the Bruce family. So that was really promising. And then just today, just this afternoon, I had to update my slides. We got great news that Governor Newsom signed the bills related to circular economy to help address plastic pollution. So the ones highlighted in yellow on this slide are some of the ones that Surfrider really got behind and helped to support. SB 343 brings truth in labeling to many plastic and packaging products. So after a phase-in period, manufacturers will no longer be able to use those chasing arrow symbols unless a product is truly recyclable in the real world. So that's been really confusing for a while. A lot of people, see a chasing arrow, oh, number 7, whatever. I see chasing arrows, it's got to be recyclable. I'll toss it in my recycle bin, but that doesn't mean an item is actually recyclable. So this bill will help address that. AB 881 helps to accurately measure how much plastic actually gets recycled. For a long time, municipalities could essentially ship plastic waste overseas, have it count as being recycled, although there was no trail on what exactly happened to those materials. A lot of them went to developing countries, may have been burned and not accurately recycled. So that's going to take away a loophole that some recycling facilities have used. AB 962 allows glass bottles to easily be refilled and reused rather than just crushed and then hopefully recycled later on. So that's really promising for beverage makers to actually reuse some of these bottles rather than just having them be single use, even though they are glass. A couple bills related to PFAs. And if you're not familiar with PFAs, those are forever chemicals that are in a number of things, became popular with Teflon and some of the foodware that's out, some of the cookware that's out there. So John Oliver just recently did a great story on that. So look for that on YouTube for some info on PFAs. And then finally, I wanted to mention AB 1276, which on here it says accessories upon request. And that's basically the plastic single-use foodware at restaurants can only be provided upon request. So that's going to take effect early in 2023 and builds on existing state law for in-house restaurants. And this basically covers all takeout restaurants, food delivery services, and will help save restaurants money and help reduce plastic waste at the same time. So all of these are basically a suite of bills, individual bills. Last year, we tried to pass a comprehensive plastic pollution bill in California. That didn't help, so they decided to take a piecemeal approach that was really effective this year. And then next year, stay tuned for a comprehensive plastic reduction ballot initiative on the ballot in November. That's going to complement these bills that have been passed and really help to tighten up some of the policies that are out there and really take California to a great place with policy and helping to reduce plastic pollution that enters the environment and ultimately the ocean. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be really positive. And despite the bad news with the oil spill, there is a silver lining with some of this legislation that is passed. And then hopefully a silver lining with the oil spill is that the public will galvanize to stop offshore oil drilling and help that transition to clean energy. So that's what I have right now. If anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome. Thank you, Bill. That was really concise. So what I'd like to say is that if this is being recorded, so if anybody needs to go back and revisit that, maybe this slide, we can put that up on our website or something like that, where people can have a place to refer to it easily. And that AB, was it 12? You're very fast, Bill. AB 12, what was the, it's the skip the stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. AB 1276, yes.
So AB 1276 is the bill that Surfrider is using, or actually it's not just Surfrider, right? Skip the Stuff is a kind of a general campaign, right? So if you guys ever see Skip the Stuff, you know it's related to that. But anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I see a quick question. And
Okay.
if this is all of California or just Ventura County? And yeah, these bills cover all of California. So it's really promising to see that these will be statewide bills. And it provides some consistency as opposed to a lot of the local ordinances, which may be different from town to town. So it's really promising to see this movement in statewide policy.
Thank you. Does anybody have any other questions before we move on to the rest of the meeting? Okay.
I have a
So
quick one, actually, if that's okay, Laura. I was
Sure.
just wondering, when can we expect to see that roll out? I guess, if they're available upon request. When will we be seeing that? Because I know there's a transition period. And so amazing, by the way. Very, very amazing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that it phases in January 1st, 2023, but I'll go look at the bill language right now and pop it in to the text. Julie just sent me a message. It might be June 1st, 2022. So I'll check on that and pop it in. Thanks for the question.
Awesome. Thank you.
thank you. So one of the things I'd like to say before we move on to the volunteer recruitment PowerPoint slide is that if you are not a member yet, it really is important, I think, to support the chapter and support the work that we do. So we do it through volunteering, and we also do it through donations, and becoming a member is one of the ways to stay on top of what we're doing and what we're doing nationally, and also to support the work. It's very important. We have a fantastic newsletter out this month. If you don't get our newsletter, I would suggest that you do subscribe. You can do that on our website. You can also become a member on our website. You can donate. You can check out our active programs and campaigns after this evening in case you do want to do more research and you want to get in touch with our volunteer coordinator to offer your talents and your services. We really appreciate that. I would like to give a shout out to our executive committee who has done a tremendous amount behind the scenes in terms of shaping the decisions that the chapter makes moving forward. And that would be Lars, Debbie, Christina, Megan, Joan, April, John, Danielle, and myself. And John is thank you. And then Cassie, obviously chapter coordinator for sure. Definitely couldn't do it without her. But Debbie's our treasurer, so she's way behind the scenes. And Christina's our secretary, and Megan's our volunteer coordinator. However, we have a new one coming up with the elections, and I know Andy's out there. I saw him sign in. So Andy Dosev is our new volunteer coordinator. He'll be taking over the reins there from Megan in December. We're very, very excited about that. Thank you, Andy. We really appreciate it. And then Danielle is here tonight too. Hopefully she can give us the beach cleanup updates. And then don't know if I saw April. April, I think, might be out there. She works with Blue Water Task Force. So you can see that our executive committee members are God, I hope I didn't leave anybody out. I got everybody. And then myself, I left myself out. So our executive committee members can be program leaders. They can be officers, like Debbie's the treasurer, that kind of a thing. So if you do see an opportunity to coming up to be an executive committee member, it's really important to have a historical background with something in the chapter already, to have experience. It's really difficult to actually just step in and be able to do the back office stuff without having experience already. So to become a core volunteer, we really appreciate everything that you guys bring to the chapter. 30 years strong, we couldn't do it without any of you, for sure. And actually the chair position's becoming available in December too. I'm going to be stepping down. So anybody with experience, not just with this chapter, but in another chapter that just knows a little bit about what the foundation does and our mission. If you're interested, obviously you can contact us at the after the meeting. So I'm gonna just step into my whole technological thing and try not to screw up. So where am I now? Select a window that I want to share. Hang on, guys. We need to really just bear with me here. Hold on. Select a window that I want to share. Why don't I see that? Don't go away, anybody.
Are you trying to share your screen?
I have no idea what I'm trying to do. So I am technically trying to share my screen and I don't see it.
I think you just want to share your PowerPoint.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
So can you click on, do you have the PowerPoint open?
Yeah, it's up on my, oh, it's open. You mean like to,
Select that as your screen you want to share.
okay, hold on. See, I don't know why I don't. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. This is like my Achilles heel.
No sweat, Laura. I have it up and ready if you want me to. pop
I
it.
know you do. I sent it to you on purpose. Okay, yes, I do want you to do it.
Okay, just let me know when you want to advance. No problem.
Now would be great. Okay. All right. 100% knew that was going to happen. Thank you, Bill.
Everything there.
Yep, got it.
Okay.
Okay, so, clearly, the work that we do is extremely important. Right now, we are 176 chapters and clubs, 159 active programs and campaigns, 53 victories in 2021 and counting, and 749 total victories to date. That's globally. So it's amazing the work that we do. Okay. So as Bill mentioned before, these are the initiatives that we focus on. And you'll see the programs and campaigns have to, this is like an umbrella, and the programs and campaigns all fit within these different issues. So thank you. So this is our 30th year anniversary. So it's very exciting. The chapter was one of the first chapters to be officially recognized in 1991. And again, we're very proud of the work that we do. And we look forward to being able to educate you and familiarize you a little bit more in this presentation. Thank you. So back in the early days, the newsletter was, now Paul, it was mailed, right? Wasn't the newsletter actually mailed? I'm pretty sure back in the early days, because this is our inception was August of 91. This is September 92, and I believe that it was all mailed. So
Doesn't that sound absolutely crazy that you would actually have to, we had volunteers that would fold these up and lick stamps and then go put them in the mailbox to our membership list.
Yep. Yeah. And I think it's really a great testimony to, the history and the longevity of the chapter that it's come so far. So this is some of the activists and some of the founders in the early days, and the Hodads and Hodettes. This is a really good example of one of the activists activism, like issues that people stepped up for, and what we continue to try to do to protect our local environment. And so there was this seawall. Paul, was it a seawall in the jetty north of Marina Park that was proposed? And then Bill, if you want to go to the next slide, you'll see an article in the newspaper that we actually stepped up and we protested and even halted bulldozers in an attempt to educate the public about the problems of building structures. I think it's really important to keep up the idea of not just environmentalism, but activism as well, especially with the recent oil spill. So Bill, next one. So this is one of our founding members. It's Rex Thomas. He's talking about a spill of plastic pellets at the train tracks near Seacliff. And again, it's just, really about education and outreach in this article. This is the actual original Blue Water Task Force. And then there's a Bill, you want to do the next one? So this is really cool. This is actually, if you guys, I'm not going to spend time reading this, but it looks like we protested enough to get the county to actually decide that they were going to do water quality testing. So am I right, Paul? This was the very first attempt at asking the county or pushing the county. Larry in this article says that it took 6 years to get the county to start doing water quality testing.
Yeah, so that's just a really great example of how Surfrider's grassroots programs like this raise the awareness that there was perhaps a problem with ocean water quality, and it might be a health issue, which then ended up being passed, that AB 411, a state law that then required local government agencies to test the water. So it sort of put us out of business, but that wasn't the intent of our business. So we succeeded.
Right. And if you think about, sometimes things seem overwhelming, but if you, work on a local level and you can see that you can affect change, it really becomes manageable. It actually gives you hope that things could change for the better and you can protect the environment. So next one, Bill. So this is actually, what was this? I don't think that the date's on this one, but this is just another example of something we stepped up to speak against. It's the parking expansion at the, is it Rincon near Solomar? So Bill, next one, please. Thank you. So now we get into a little bit about the original Surfers Point erosion and phase 1. And if you ever think that Paul doesn't have patience, you just have to remember, I think it took at least 15 years to get phase 1 built. And so we're working on phase 2, but I know it's going to take hopefully not that long. And then Bill, next one. This is the drawing of phase 1. Bill, next one.
Laura, I'll just add on that
Yeah.
drawing. That was a volunteer who drew that up for me to help us illustrate what we were proposing. And that drawing ended up actually going into the environmental impact report for the Surfers Point project.
Nice. Yeah. And I think that phase 2 is having, all the changes, with needing the electric car chargers and just the environmental impacts that are different now than back in the day. I'm sure you're faced with a whole new set of challenges. I think you have a really good, Paul is a legend, John, you're right. And we have really good support.
Sorry,
And
Laura, I would just add that I think there is going to come a time in the fairly near future where we're going to need to get folks to advocate for this project and keep it moving forward. In fact, if you happen to know or regularly speak with any of your city council people, I recommend that you speak with them and let them know that this is a priority for our community.
Well, I was gonna win the lottery, the Powerball, and I was gonna donate the money that you needed for this, and I'm just bummed I didn't win. I'm so bummed.
Well, and that's actually a really good point. You may remember we sent out an action alert a couple of months ago to make sure that beach restoration funding was in the state budget. I believe that we were successful, and it looks like there's $50 million or something been allocated. It'll be
Wow.
500 million, I'm sorry, with the state coastal conservancy starting next year for grants for projects like this.
Wonderful.
So the fact of the matter is, I think we can secure the funding. We just need to get through the final design and get our grant applications in.
So when I win the lottery, I don't have to give any of it to you. I'm so excited. Yeah. All right. Okay, next slide, Bill, please. So now we're talking about the connection, right? The connection between the eroding shoreline and Matilaha Dam. So now we're working on understanding the way that the environment works and that the way the ecosystem works. So this is 1996, and Brian's looking at the bike path and the erosion on the beach. And so next one, he's talking about the dam. So in 1999, the Matilaha Coalition became an alliance, and again, Paul's worked tirelessly to see this, and actually you are seeing some improvements and some movement, some gains. So next one, Bill. Sorry, thank you. So did you want to talk a little bit about this, Paul? Just you got like 60 seconds?
Yeah, 30 seconds. You know, most of you are familiar with this project at this point, but this is a watershed restoration project, and basically to actually remove the dam and improve all the downstream infrastructure so that we have flood control, bridges, water supply facilities all upgraded, and ultimately the steelhead can swim up into the upper watershed, which is that green area in the top there. If you're interested in learning more and getting the most recent update, it's in the newsletter that just went out. It's actually 9 o'clock. I know it's daytime, but tomorrow morning there is a Zoom link in that newsletter, and you can tune in for a couple hours and get the full update.
Thank you. Bill, next slide. So this is a little bit of a graph with the details of what needs to happen. And if you guys want any more information about Matilaha Dam or the managed retreat or any of Paul's great work, you can go to his website, which is venturariver.org. So next slide, Bill, please. I was just going to point out some of our great merch. We have pint cups, we have bamboo utensils, we have great t-shirts, we have some really, really cool merch that represent not just the foundation itself, but Ventura County. Next slide. If we ever have an in-person thing again, we might actually be able to use those, huh? So on to our programs and campaigns. One of our most successful programs to date is our Hold On to Your Butt program. And Julie Marcial leads this program in Ventura, Oxnard, and Port Hueneme. So it's on fire. So Julie, do you want to, Bill, if you want to go to the next slide, Julie, do you want to explain about the program? And
Sure.
if you just tell us what your what kind of volunteers you're looking for.
Okay, so what we need, as you can see, these are all our ash cans in different places. The one, if you're looking at this in the upper left-hand corner, that's me on the left and Kathy Lundquist on the right, installing here in Ventura. The one on the bottom is at the Seaview Marina. The one in the middle is John from Leashless Brewery and Eric Lundquist and my dog Stella with one of the cans at Leashless. And here's one of our newest cans, which is at the memorial, the Alaskan Airlines Memorial in Port Hueneme. And again, a shout out to Joan for helping getting us into Port Hueneme. So what we really need for volunteers, Kathy and I install these cans and then we maintain them, but we need volunteers to empty them. Hopefully, I didn't see her here, but we have a brand new volunteer that just signed on. Her name is Marie Martin, and she's going to be in Oxnard, which is great because we need to get a toehold into Oxnard.
I think
So-
she's here.
Is she here? Well, great.
I think so.
I had a fantastic conversation with her Monday, and we're putting 12 new cans up on Friday in Port Hueneme along there in a couple of their parks and along their park walkway, which is fantastic. And Marie has stepped up and said she will be maintaining those cans and emptying them and working with Joan in Port Hueneme on those cans. And she's also stepped up again twice now in just one day that we've talked, and is wanting to be able to, once we can get some cans up in Oxnard. And one of the things if any of you know anybody in Oxnard, in the city council or in the parks department, would be great if you could get a hold of me and we could talk about getting a hold of those people, because we need their permission to get them up. But what we need more than anything else are people that will help maintain the cans, i.e. emptying the cans when they get, halfway full or full. Normally, the only amount of time you need to spend on this is maybe 2 to 3 hours a month. So go ahead. You have a question, Laura?
Yeah, I was just going to say, at the end of the PowerPoint presentation, there's the volunteer coordinator email address. If you guys see anything on the programs and campaigns that you're interested in volunteering for, please email Megan directly, and then she will give you some background on the chapter itself, our mission, a little bit of a welcome, thank you for your interest, and then she will pass your information on to the program leader. So it's vetted a little bit with the volunteer coordinator, and then Julie or any other program leader will get your email forwarded.
The other thing I want to also give a shout out to, Lars is on your executive committee, but we have nothing but utmost thanks to Lars for being able to get us anywhere in the city to put cans up. And as a result, we have over 100 cans up in the city of Ventura. And
It's amazing.
we've got a lot of sponsors. You can see them in the newsletters and you can see them on our webpage. But because Lars has pretty much given us carte blanche to put up cans on city property, as long as I let them know where they're going to be, we've been able to install these cans, bus stops, parks, all over the city. And again, I want to thank Lars for that.
That's amazing.
So, and we're getting the same kind of response from people in Port Hueneme right now. And we need some people like that in Oxnard. So that's.
Hey, Julie.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a quick question about what happens to the butts, and I responded in the chat that they are recycled, but I don't know if you want to do a
Sure.
quick something on that.
Yes, we actually, we send these, we package them up. One of the big 5-gallon cans that we use will hold 5,000 cigarette butts. But once we get them, we have to package them up and we send them off to a place in the Midwest called TerraCycle. And TerraCycle then turns them into other products such as shipping pallets and park benches and ironically ashtrays. And you can see an example of one of those benches because yet again, Lars was responsible for this. There is a bench made out of cigarette butts right on the promenade in Ventura, right in front of the children's playground. And that bench has been dedicated to Paul Herzog, one of our former Surfrider, fantastic people and person, I should say. So Lars, again, was responsible for getting that bench, but that is installed there, but that is an example of what they do with what TerraCycle does with these cigarette butts. So it's a stinky, kind of job, but we get it all done and we get it off and we send them off to them and they do things with them because cigarette butts are plastic. They never biodegrade. They release all these terrible toxins when they fall on the ground or go in the water. So we want to keep them off the ground, out of storm drains, off the beach, out of the water. We can get them in these cans and get them off to TerraCycle. Maybe something good can be done with them.
That's another thing too. We just had a message in the chat. If you're interested in sponsoring an ash can, or if you know of an area that needs one, please email Julie at rap@ventura.surfrider.org. Cassie, can you put that in the chat, please?
You can put it You can put it at RAP or you can do it directly to my email. That's the
Okay.
Julie@gmail would be
Oh,
best.
Okay,
Okay.
so, yeah, next slide, Bill, please. It's TerraCycle, Alexandra, it's TerraCycle.
Yes.
So moving on to the Blue Water Task Force program, that was one of the slides you saw earlier where it started originally back in, I think, 94, and then was really the impetus that got the county to actually start doing water quality testing. And so, Joy, are you presenting for Blue Water Task Force, or is April out
Yes, I
there?
am.
Okay, so Joy Downing-Riley, another volunteer extraordinaire, is going to be presenting for the Blue Water Task Force program. And at the end, Joy, if you could just give us a little bit of a explanation of what a good volunteer for your program would be.
I'm happy to. So we are still in business, and I'm Joy Downing-Riley, and I co-lead with April Bender, who has been with the Blue Water Task Force way longer than I have. So as the slide says, we raise awareness about the bacterial content in our local waters to protect public health. So specifically, we measure fecal indicator bacteria. And the way we do that is we sample and collect water from our local beaches. So as Laura mentioned, the county does test our local waters. We test differently, and they cut their season down during the wet weather season. So what we do is we pick up 9 sites that are popular recreational areas that are used a lot during November through March. And we report, after running our samples through the lab, what beach sites might have bacterial content, and we post them on our social media accounts. So people every week can see we pick up Thursday, we test, we release the results on Friday. So people can make a decision about going to a particular beach that might, after a post-rain event, have a lot of bacteria. So
Bill, do you want to go to the next slide real quick? This is not updated per se, but these are overall kind of the testing sites, right, Joy?
Yes, these are our prime ones. Under discussion is maybe adding one, maybe deleting one, but we do have resources to test for 9 sites this season. So our core volunteers, or first of all, be willing to do a short training with us by Zoom on October 25th, probably the evening, and would learn about our safety guidelines and would be available regularly November through March. And we only need some time Thursday mornings between 8 and 12 noon. And what you would do is just collect a water sample with a plastic bag and transfer it to our drop-off site, and your job is done. So this is extremely valuable. I'm a recreational kayaker. I had no idea, for example, my launch site after a rain event was testing very high for bacteria. So I have had many thank yous from people last year. For example, in February, Mondo's had a really high bacteria count. And I just happened to be out there doing a different volunteer job, and I stopped and I asked people if they knew about the results they could check on social media, and most people did not. And they were quite grateful for the information. So you would be doing a wonderful service if you could come out. We need 4 or 5 people. April can add anything she needs to add that I missed.
Thank you. Again, at the end, if you're interested in volunteering for the Blue Water Task Force program, you'll have the contact information to email to the volunteer coordinator. So next slide, Bill. Oh, cool flag. Next slide, Bill. So beach cleanups are tried and true, I think, most iconic program that is run with probably any chapter. We are back in business. We're having the fourth Saturday of the month again, except the holidays are coming up, so we're a little in flux about November and December, but this next one is the fourth Saturday in October, which is the 23rd. And I didn't know, Danielle, can you give the update on what's going on with the beach cleanups there in Ventura?
Yeah, I'm happy to give the update. So I'm Danielle Rose, and I help co-lead the beach cleanups at California Street with Julie Marcial. She has been with the program way longer than I have, but after being a Core Volunteer, she's kindly let me help in and assist with the events. If you've seen us out there, we're between the Crown Plaza and Aloha Steakhouse, normally on the fourth Saturday of every month. However, due to holiday conflicts, we've posted with the city that we will be there the third Saturday in November and the third Saturday in December in order to work around holiday conflicts. And then normally September, we're there third Saturday of the month for Coastal Cleanup Day as well. We're super thankful to be back hosting the events in person at California Street. For those of you that don't know, our last in-person cleanup in 2020 was February 2020, and our first cleanups back in 2021 were in August. So we've only been back in action, California Street, for 2 months, but thankfully we've had some really great volunteers doing sponsored cleanups in order to help take care of the area in our absence. Our events are from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings, so volunteers would have availability during that time. If you're available earlier, some of us meet at the Surfrider office at 8:15, 8:30 and pack up supplies. So if you have a vehicle that can bring over some supplies over to the parking structure, that's super helpful. If you have a truck, that would be incredible. So if you know some friends that want to help out that have a larger vehicle, we're actively seeking volunteers with trucks. But on a good Saturday, we hope to have like 5 or 6 volunteers helping to run the event, because we never really totally know how many people will be coming to the cleanup. Right now, we're trying to get a head count by having people pre-register. But in 2019, when we were having our regular events, we're having 200 to 300 people come to California Street. We get a lot of students that come and need volunteer hours signed off for school. A lot of companies who encourage their employees to get a certain number of hours per quarter. So we get a lot of people. And so there's some roles that our volunteers commonly fill in order to keep the California Street events moving smoothly. We have people checking in our volunteers and signing waivers. There's volunteers that help hand out our supplies. We've got Surfrider vests so that we can keep track of who's at the beach with us and make sure that they're back by 11 with all of their trash, and hand out grabbers and buckets and smaller buckets to collect cigarette butts. Since we're in such a visual space there on the promenade, it's also a good time for recruitment. A lot of people come and ask us about our chapter, so it's a good time to try to get people more involved with all of our other programs and campaigns. And then we also, of course, organize the trash and the cigarette butts that are coming back in as 11 o'clock approaches. And we try to get our volunteers to fill out data cards so that we get an idea of the trash that they're finding on the beach, because that helps us to help to implement ordinances to prevent it from making its way through the watershed and into our oceans. So as far as volunteer training and knowledge, you can email me directly, or I'm happy to hop on a phone call regarding the beach cleanups at California Street.
Thank you. Thank you, Danielle. And next slide, Bill. There's a group, big group. Next slide, thank you. So Ormond Beach, Joan and I run the Ormond Beach campaign, and the campaign involves beach cleanups, water quality testing, and non-point source trash monitoring up the waterways that lead into the lagoon. And if you guys can believe it, I mean, it's kind of sad. It's kind of remarkable that we've accomplished so much in such a little bit of time. And it's kind of staggering how much trash there actually is that even with COVID, we have started in January of 2020, collected over 52,000 pounds of trash at Ormond Beach. Most of it being styrofoam and plastic. That upper left-hand picture is a pocket that of mostly styrofoam and plastic that was washed down the waterway from the channel that goes through the city of Oxnard. And there's our cute little snowy plover there in the lower left-hand corner. That's one of the endangered birds that we work very hard to try to keep safe. And again, if you're interested in volunteering, at the end, you'll get the volunteer coordinator's email address. Next slide, please. So we've had a really good experience with corporations sponsoring private beach cleanups. It's a really great form of outreach for the companies themselves. It's a team building experience. It's an environmentalism kind of a tax deductible opportunity, and it's private, and it's done usually during the week. That's usually where the corporations when they would like to do it. Again, usually at Ventura. If you're interested in sponsoring a beach cleanup, or if you know of anyone that might be interested, please contact us. Appreciate that. Bill, next slide. So onto the OceanFriendly Gardens program. We have over 45 documented ocean-friendly gardens in Ventura County. The most important reason why the program was started was to prevent ocean pollution, and urban runoff is the #1 cause of ocean pollution. So one of the really wonderful byproducts of an ocean-friendly garden is that it's, water conservation, obviously, and sustainability. And it's very important, I think, to support these types of gardens as we go into what can only be probably one of the most severe droughts we've seen in a long time, not just in the city of Ventura, but the county itself. And the city of Ventura has a really good, and Oxnard too, a turf removal rebate program that homeowners can take advantage of to save some money on the actual installation if they're going to do it in any way, So next slide, Bill. So Laura Bauer, I know she's out there, and I have given some amazing workshops, amazing, not because we're amazing, but that aside, the workshops are very informative. We've used this book, which is free, by the way, in case anybody's interested in one. It's really informative. It's a great DIYer kind of a step approach on how to actually have an ocean-friendly garden, which would also be sustainable, probably mostly natives. So it's, good for the wildlife. And the next slide, please. This is a garden tour that Laura and I gave a couple of years ago. This year's was virtual, which was kind of fun. They videoed Laura, and I did the what did I do? Oh yeah, I did a modified version of the workshop. So Laura, did you want to include anything, any information, anything?
Oops, I'm unmuting. Yeah, so the Ocean Friendly Gardens program also is sponsored a couple of public gardens at schools in the area. We do have the one that we've been most successful with is at the Loma Vista Elementary School at the top of Mills Road, right by the mall in Ventura. And we actually are going to be having a little cleanup day there on Saturday, October 16th. So if you are interested in that, I'll be putting it together an event on the Ocean Friendly Gardens website for people to sign up so they can come out and get some fresh air and see some plants. We also try to educate people. A lot of people are putting in, ocean friendly gardens and native plants and such. And myself and our other garden steward are, kind of knowledgeable. So if people are interested in learning on how to take care of their plants, we're hoping that we can be a source of education for that as well. Yeah, we have 2 garden stewards, and Loma Vista Garden is a great little a garden at a school. So if you can't make it on that Saturday, hopefully you can come and see it at some other point. And we hope to have some more events like the garden tours in the future, which are super popular.
Thank you. And so one of the things that we're looking for is to kind of expand the committee, the Ocean Friendly Garden Committee, which includes planning and working on other opportunities for more gardens, planning the direction of the program. The committee itself is a little needs to be spruced up, actually, to be honest with you. So if you're interested in actually being on the committee, that would be great. If you're interested in being a volunteer, it would be for a work day like Laura's talking about. We just did something not that long ago at Patagonia. We did planting and we did mulching and, the different weeding, I'm sure at some point. And it's pretty seasonal as far as the maintenance goes and the needs of the garden, but the installations obviously take design and planning and that kind of thing. So, all right. So next slide, please, Bill. So this has been on hold with COVID, but I would have to assume it's going to be revived again. I hopefully Paul, is it seasonal, like super seasonal? Are we going to like look for a Surfers Point Dunes workday in maybe spring? Is he there?
We will definitely think about that. I mean, we haven't been out there with COVID in the last couple of years. It's looking pretty good anyway, but we will assess. If we get a really rainy year and there's tons of weeds out there, we will need to get out there for sure.
Okay. So again, Surfers Point Dunes workday volunteers. Again, if you're interested, just let us know at the end of, you'll get the email address at the end of the slideshow. Next slide, please. So Respect the Rincon Parkway is a new program that Joy has taken the reins on and just come out of the gate like you would not believe. And like I mentioned before, she's got a cleanup coming up on Saturday. She's going to be looking for volunteers, and then she'll tell us a little bit about what's going on with Rincon Parkway.
Hi, it's me again, Joy Downing Riley. And as Laura said, this is a new program for Surfrider, although Surfrider, as you saw from the historical slides, has long had a presence on the Rincon Parkway. So I began doing solo cleanups there because I am very concerned about the impact of debris on the wildlife that live in this part of the coastline. So I am a liaison to the Ventura County Supervisor's Office, District 1, Matt Levere's office, and I've been working with them pretty hard to bring changes and upgrades to the area. During COVID, if you were up there, you probably noticed how much the area was used and abused. I'm happy to report that they have made parking changes, so the beach is more accessible, and they have removed all the brush that was hiding a great deal of debris. So already I want to make a shout out to Jordy and Alex, who came out last month with Laura. And I noticed that Alexandra's also on for this Saturday. So thank you guys for joining me in my vision to continue to help this area where there is so much confusion about who's supposed to be maintaining what, keeping the pressure on these governmental agencies to make this area of coastline safe and healthy for everyone and for wildlife. So I will be out there every second Saturday of the month from 8:30 to 10:30. This stretch of coastline is 14 miles. We've been focusing in on the Rincon day use area because it gets the most abuse, but we'll be moving up and down according to the needs of what's left where. So I have an information sheet if you're interested in joining me. We provide all the gear like Danielle showed in her slide, and it is a great opportunity for outreach and team building. So October 9th, this Saturday, I need 3 more volunteers to join us, and we'll just be picking up trash. So my email is, I'm not sure if it's listed here, but I'll put it in the chat. And if you have any more questions, I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. Cassie put the Sign Up Genius link in the chat also.
Oh, great.
So
Thanks.
next slide, Bill, please. So this is kind of just reinforces what Joy's been talking about in her dedication. And we truly appreciate all the work that you're doing, Joy. Next
Thanks.
slide, Bill, please. So moving on to plastic-free Ventura County, that's been gangbusters. Julie's led that for probably, it feels like eternity, Julie, but it's been what, 2.5 years?
Actually,
And we're very proud of the accomplishments that the campaign and that the committee and that Julie have a lot of hard work. That EPS foam ban with the city of Ventura was because of their hard work. And obviously the council approved, but still. So I'm going to give everybody all that credit. The council doesn't get any credit. Julie and the committee gets all the credit. And so now, next slide, please. Bill. Okay, so Julie, do you want to talk about the plans?
Sure. Well, thank you very much, Laura, for all of that. Yes, you saw previous to this slide, the cities that are already either going to implement it or have implemented it. We've been going after city councils with a ordinance to ban EPS, which is, as everyone knows, is styrofoam, extended polystyrene, and to implement only to get rid of plastic and bioplastic foodware and have either absolutely recyclable units or compostable foodware. And then the third part of the ordinance was to skip the stuff, which I'm really excited about the fact that AB 1276 is passed, because now instead of a 3-prong push on an ordinance, we only have a 2-prong push. So as seen on the previous slide, we most recently, Ventura has now banned EPS. We are, again, thank you, Joan Tharp, for spearheading getting into Port Hueneme to address their city council. They are seriously considering, matter of fact, it's already been an agenda item, a comprehensive ordinance to ban EPS, ban plastic and bioplastic single-use foodware. And also the other part of the ordinance that we proposed was to skip the stuff, but we don't have to worry about that one now. They seem very interested and positive about it. They are in the second stage of having their city attorney look at it and an outside consultant, and it will be an agenda item very soon. We're hoping this is October. We're hoping it'll come back in November. So it looks very, very positive in Port Hueneme. And again, we want to thank everyone for all that they did, taking pictures, going to stores, going to different food outlets to see what kind of foodware was being used there. So what do we need for volunteers? We want to move into Oxnard because that is the biggest city in the county of Ventura. And as you can see here, this is the Ormond waterway, and you can see all of the single-use foodware and styrofoam that is flowing from Oxnard down in through Port Hueneme, Ormond, out into the ocean. And this city, the city of Oxnard, we really need to be able to pass a plastic-free Ventura County ordinance there. And we will need volunteers to help us take pictures around the city when it's time to go to city council, to appear at meetings, to support this. There's a number of things that you can do, but right now, more than anything else, we need people to start going around Oxnard, taking pictures, showing where all of this debris is all over the city of Oxnard. Again, you can contact me at my email, and they'll put that in the chat to find out more what you can do for plastic-free Ventura County. But we are now really going to be focusing on Oxnard, and we need help. We need a lot of help with that. So that's it. And we want to get rid of what the picture before this showed, everything that had been picked up at the promenade in Ventura. This is what we're seeing in Oxnard.
Yep.
And no matter how many cleanups we do, we can keep cleaning this up and cleaning it up and cleaning it up, but it's like someone trying to mop a kitchen floor with someone standing in the hallway with a fire hose going with all this garbage. We have to stop producing it. We have to stop having it go out there. So
100%.
Ventura is what we want to do.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Julie. Okay, next slide, please. So Ocean Friendly Restaurants, Juan, I know you're out there, and Casey. Juan leads the Ocean Friendly Restaurant program for our chapter, and Casey's one of the committee members. So Juan, did you want to talk a little bit about the program?
Absolutely. Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
So the Ocean Friendly Restaurant Program is just another strategy that Surfrider utilizes to minimize plastic pollution. So as the previous slides kind of showed, a lot of the biggest things littering are beaches, and a lot of the items that are found that are prominent are single-use plastics like plastic forks, plastic knives, straws. Hopefully we're going to see less of styrofoam takeout bags or just general trash wrappers or wrapper. So our goal is to minimize the plastic pollution at the source, and through that, in order to do that, we work with the restaurant themselves. Could you go to the next slide, please, Laura? Or Paul? Or no, sorry.
It's okay.
Bill,
It's Bill.
excuse me. So here's some of the guidelines to the program. So the top 7 are going to be what's going to be the mandatory guidelines for the restaurant, and the bottom they only have to choose 3 guidelines from the bottom. And so yeah, we have it's a great opportunity to go out and meet your local community. So I had the opportunity to meet a lot of different restaurant owners and managers that I definitely wouldn't have met if it wasn't for the Ocean Friendly Restaurants program. And so the type of volunteers that we're looking for is someone who is okay with interfacing with the public on a regular basis. Or if you're more of an introvert and you're looking to put yourself out there, this is a great way to do it. So we meet once every 3rd Wednesday, once a month, and it's an hour meeting. And if you're interested in talking more on a more personal basis, I highly encourage you to sit in with the Ocean Friendly Committee to hear more about the program, and so we can maybe just outline some more of our plans. But just a quick shout out to Casey, our committee member. She actually brought in a new restaurant into the program. So the newest member to the program is the Bank of Italy Cocktail Trust. It's a restaurant bar in downtown Ventura. I highly recommend checking them out if you haven't. It's really great. They have great cocktails, awesome food. And so, yeah. So we are looking to not only expand OFR's influence in Ventura, but also help Julian Oxnard and expand in Oxnard as well. So in order to do that, we just need more people to volunteer within the program. So like I said, if you could, if you're more interested in hearing on a more personal basis, please reach out to me and we can talk. So thank you.
Thank you, Juan. We appreciate that. It's a very important program, and it's because of COVID, the program kind of took a back seat a little bit, and just out of respect to the restaurants and their struggles, Juan's coming out of the gate a little slow, which is good, and definitely helping the city of Ventura with the EPS phone ban enforcement. So next slide, Bill, please. So I know Natasha's out there. I want to say, and I know Jordy's out there, I know Alex is out there, and they are our 3 CSUCI interns that are killing it. They, with Cassie's supervision, have brought back the Surfrider Club there at the school and are getting new members, are doing events, and I'll let Natasha explain a little bit about what they have planned for coming up, and then in the future. And I left this slide in because I wanted you guys to see what 2019 looked like, and it was a really, Cassie actually led the club. She was the president, and it was really a significant club, not just on campus, but for our chapter and for the future. of environmentalism. And we're very fortunate to have this school in the county, so we can hoard all the wonderful environmentalists that graduate from that school. So the next slide is actually the most recent slide that Alex made. And Bill, if you want to move on to the next slide, then Natasha can introduce the club to everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Laura. That was such a good introduction to the club. I hope you can hear me all right because my Wi-Fi has been choppy all day. But just but everyone, my name is Natasha. I'm the Surfrider Club president. Oh, did it cut out?
You're okay now. You're back.
Okay, good. I'm the president for Surfrider Club this semester. Then we also have a vice president, Jordy, and our treasurer, Alex. We're all capstone students, so our main focus for this semester is just to have a strong club revival after the aftermath of COVID, and to really focus heavily on recruiting newer students and ensuring like a strong transition to leadership for next semester. And then all the same time, we're introducing our students to the activism network at Surfrider and getting them to know what exactly Surfrider is, what they do. But a lot of that is just meeting students where they're at, seeing where their interests lie, and learning to show themselves how they can be leaders themselves. Because I think students are just so young and they just don't know yet that their actions have so much effect on the world. And I think through Surfrider, they get that connection. They finally see picking up trash is actually very huge for the environment, and they learn environmental stewardship through the club. So at our last campus cleanup, we collected 70 pounds of trash, which was really, really good for us. And then we have several campus cleanups coming up, as you can see in the slide Alex made. And yeah, so we've just been really, really excited about that. And it's a very mutually beneficial relationship for us to be connected with the Surfrider chapter in Ventura County, because this will be a lot of students' first experience understanding how a nonprofit works. And they'll be exposed to that early. And then, like Cassie, some of them might join Surfrider in the future after they graduate. So it's their first introduction to activism and learning more about the environment and just starting to volunteer and care about it. But if you have any opportunities for our students, or if you'd like them to get involved in any sort of way, feel free to reach out to me or Alex or Jordy. And we're always happy to connect our students to the amazing network here. Learned so many things today, just all of the programs that Surfrider offers. And I know our students are going to be very excited about that. So I'm excited to share that with all of them too. Thank you, Laura, for allowing me to speak about this.
Oh my goodness. Can we keep you? Does the intern thing end? Is it ever, it could just be like forever? Anyway, thank you so much. I know all of you, Natasha, Jordy, Alex, all of you, Cassie, it's just been really an amazing experience for me to be able to see how hardworking you guys are and how much you care. And so next slide, Bill. We're almost done, guys. Thank you for hanging in there. So who leads a chapter? Pretty much the officers, the executive committee, the core volunteers that run programs. These are the people that make the difference. These are the people that sustain the chapter itself. Volunteers that come and do the work, we really appreciate it on any level. Like you heard about all the programs and campaigns, how important the work is. Everything's active, even in spite of COVID, everything's active. And we appreciate all the volunteer opportunities that, and in your time, you don't have to volunteer for longer than the time that you have. I know, and I was thinking of when Danielle was giving her beach cleanup orientation, I was thinking that if you wanted to be a tabling volunteer and help run the event itself, but you didn't want to do it every fourth Saturday of the month, I'm sure that with experience, and she would appreciate, you rotating in when you can. So things like that. And obviously, the beach cleanups themselves, Ormond and Ventura, can always use more volunteers. There's always something to do. And Joy has her hands full at the Rincon Parkway, and definitely boots on the ground is really important. Core volunteers to be on committees. to help run the programs is really an influential opportunity, I think, to make a difference. And next slide, Bill, please. Yeah, Paul's right. I am a good salesperson, huh? He put that in the chat. So yeah, so 100%, you know, this chapter means a lot to me, and the work that we do means everything to me. So this was basically the programs and campaigns that we just talked about. And if you're interested in learning more, but you don't really need to, you don't want to email or anything, just go to our website. It's, you know, it's an updated website, and you'll get all the information that you're interested in learning there. Tabling is a really big deal. It helps not just inform people about the work that we do, but it helps recruit new volunteers. So with coming out of COVID, I think our next big event, probably a tabling event, probably would be Earth Day, which isn't until April. So we have, you know, some time to actually put, again, we're, you know, tabling volunteer back together again. There are a lot of things were kind of put on hold, and we're kind of in a rebuild mode right now on actually recruiting the volunteers that would be doing something like a tabling event. So Bill, next slide, please. So if you're interested in helping in any way, shape, or form, we would really appreciate that. Again, I think I don't need to reiterate it again, but next slide, Bill. Please tell me there's another slide, because I didn't put the volunteer coordinator email address on this one.
I think we're at the end.
No way. Ah, shoot. Okay.
Well, we got the chat box.
Okay. Chat box. Volunteer coordinator at ventura.surfrider.org. Oh, there we go. What did I do? I said email us at. That's as far as I got.
I know, it looks like you got clipped off.
It got distracted. Okay. We do this
Laura,
wrong.
I want to give a shout out to you for just getting this whole thing, putting so much work into this presentation. This chapter is gratitude to you indefinitely. Thank you for doing all of this. You are an all-star.
God, you're welcome. It actually was definitely a lot easier than you know, like starting from scratch, because we have other presentations I pulled from. So I really thank you, Cassie. I appreciate that. But and we just had to update, which was a lot better than starting over again. Otherwise, I'd probably still be working on it like at 5:30 tonight. So thank you. Thank you, Laura Bauer. You're my Laura Bauer. So you guys are amazing. I so appreciate you tuning in. I think we were really comprehensive, and you know, I don't think we went too fast, but if anybody has any questions, please ask them now. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the support. I really do. It's 10 to 8, so we can like call it, or we can take some questions, whatever you guys want to do. Nothing. So we're all good. Anybody have any questions about for a program leader or about a specific program? There was a ton in the chat box. Is that what it's called, the chat box? Thank you, Bill, for doing the presentation. I don't know where it went.
I had a quick question about the whole EPS situation. That is just for food and manufacturing and doesn't cut out entire production, like in pertaining to surfboards and stuff, right? That's just for like food containers. Julie,
Correct,
I think
it does not. It addresses food containers at restaurant and retail sales as well. So you can't go to Smart and Final and other places and buy styrofoam plates. It also covers the styrofoam coolers as well that break into small pieces. But it does not cover styrofoam that's encapsulated in a hard thing, you know, like reusable coolers. Even the hard plastic ones often have styrofoam inside. So things like that and surfboards are allowed under the ordinance. It's, you know, those single-use things that break apart easily that are covered.
Cool. I kind of assumed. I just, you know, wanted to make sure, given I work in the surf industry.
Yeah, for sure. We don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot here and ban surfboards or something, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
I have a question.
Yep.
Is it possible to have someone post on the Facebook page, post each person email and what, like the OFR person and their email, like what they do? Because I'm new and I'd like to get involved.
That's wonderful. I think, Lisa, I think the best thing would be to email the volunteer coordinator that you are a new potential volunteer and you would like to get involved. And then that person, Megan, can reach out and you guys can talk about your interests. And like, if you did want to become involved with OFR, she has other good bits of information to educate you a little bit more about the chapter and the work that we do. And then she can pass you on to Juan if you are interested in OFR. So again, that's volunteer coordinator at ventura.surfrider.org.
Just
And
another suggestion with that, Laura, is
yeah,
if Lisa would like to go to our homepage, ventura.surfrider.org, it shows all the programs as well, so she can get a good handle on what all the different programs are, in addition to reaching out to the volunteer coordinator, because she can.
Right.
Each one of the programs, Lisa, has a web page of its own, so you can see what they all are.
Thank you.
I also
Thank
just
you.
put, there's a link in the chat, also all on our website. We'll send you all over, but there is a list of contacts for specific programs as well, if you don't find them on the program page.
And if you're interested in receiving, Cassie, they want to put their email address in the chat box if they're interested in receiving a thank you for attending from you and something else, I forget.
Yeah, I'll put, we'll get everybody's emails here in the chat.
Okay.
And if you want to recap of some of the links we discussed, the blog post, I mean, there's a ton of information in this PowerPoint. So feel free to message me your email address real quick. If you can't type it in fast enough, then I'm going to put my email address in the chat and you can send me an email. It's also on the website on the contact us. So hang tight real quick. I'll put that in the chat.
And thank you everyone for your support. Like I said, I'll be stepping down with this next election as the chair. And 3.5 years later, it's been a remarkable opportunity, and I'm still involved. I'll still be involved in everything, but it's just it's such a remarkable chapter, and the work that we do is so important. It's extremely valuable, and I think you guys saw that tonight. So thank you again, everybody, and all the new volunteers that I see that joined us tonight. We really appreciate your support, and all the future volunteers that will be stepping up and helping us in the future. We really appreciate that as well. So any other questions? And I know I gave John a shout out earlier for being on the EC and being the newsletter guy, but it takes a ton of time to put that newsletter together, and he did a really, he does a really good job every month, but this month was exceptionally long. And I just look at it and I go, holy crap, how long did that take John to do? That's like kind of like my assessment when I see the newsletter. I'm like, oh my God. So thank you, John. You're amazing. We really appreciate your professionalism and your dedication when you do that newsletter. And you're on the EC. So thank you. You're not allowed to leave, by the way. So, all right. Anybody else? Or I think we're done. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. And I will convert this into a thingy for YouTube, which will be posted probably tomorrow. All right. Have a great night. It's wonderful to see you all. Take care.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. Bye.